I'm sure you can agree with me that one of the worst things in football is when you get the ball or you find yourself in a certain situation that you know you have the skill to get out of, but you panic and end up making a silly mistake, or you panic and don't do as well as you could in that situation. Well, in this video, I want to go over how you can stop panicking in situations in football, in your matches, remain calm, and ultimately make the proper decision, the right decision, the most effective decision more times than not. That's coming up next. So the first way to stop panicking in football is probably going to be one of the most effective, and it's really becoming aware first of which situations you are panicking in the most, and then really focusing on those in your individual training. Now, you'll be surprised how many players skip this very simple practice. For example, if you find you're receiving the ball and you're panicking because someone closes you down quickly, you need to practice that situation over and over again so that you can calmly control the ball, shield it, move it on, or whatever else. Because it might just be you have a fine first touch. It's not the reason that you're losing the ball in that situation, but you panic and therefore you make a mistake, take a bad touch, and your opponent can get the ball. Whereas if you just practice this situation over and over again, you'd be able to maintain possession, keep the ball close to you, or whatever else you need to do in that situation. And so what I would have you do, even pausing this video or do it after the video, is literally write down what situations, think about them. What situations do you find yourself panicking in the most? Like, pretty much if you get in that situation, you know you're going to panic. And can you come up with some practices, or look up some practices, I should say, that are going to help you with that situation? I gave you a simple example there. Maybe you find yourself in a corner a lot and you don't know how to get out of it. Maybe you you find yourself panicking in front of net, right? So if you practice these situations to the point where you've done so many repetitions, you will stop panicking in those situations because you have so much experience in them now. This is the best way to go about this. We have some other good things you need to think about, but really become aware of when am I panicking? What are those situations? Why am I panicking in those situations, let's say? Or it might just be you need to practice them more and more, and then in your individual training, dedicate time, every training session or as many as you can, to working on that situation. In fact, if it resonates with you, put "I am staying calm and composed in my matches." You can put that down in the comments below if that is something you want to do, and we'll move on to number two. Now, number two is a big one, and it's letting go of mistakes quickly. Now, here's another thing that causes players to panic or start making a lot of mistakes in matches. They might be having a good game, but maybe 5-10 minutes in or whenever, they make a mistake. And it happens to the best of us. Maybe you take a bad touch, you play a bad pass, you miss an easy chance, you miss a tackle, someone beats you one-on-one, and a lot of players get in their own head and then start panicking when that situation continues to rise, or instead of panicking, they kind of get a rush of blood to the head and then kind of make a poor decision because of that as well. And this is something you really have to get out of the habit of. Emotional control on the pitch is so important. Now, I'm not saying don't allow yourself to release it. I found one of the most effective things is actually to quickly release my frustration when I make a mistake. For different people, different things will work, but I find that holding it in doesn't typically work for me personally. So I might yell out, I might, whatever, but a second later, I'm fine. I release it in that moment. If I need to analyze it after the game because I keep making the same mistake or something, then that's fine. But you can't be beating yourself up for these mistakes, holding on to it and letting it affect your game. That is going to cause you just to panic even more, become even more nervous, or become so angry and frustrated that you're making silly mistakes as well. So make sure you are letting go of mistakes, brushing it off, bouncing back every single time. And again, you can analyze it later and determine why you keep making that mistake if it's repeating. But again, if you want to stop making more mistakes in the match, you need to find a way to bounce back, rebound, however it works for you. Some, they laugh at it. Some, have to scream out. Some can maintain a calm the whole time. But, do whatever you have to do. You'll find even the best players kind of throw up their hands sometimes or scream and shout. And a lot of people go like, oh, don't do that. And I've said that in the past before as well. But I actually think it can be good so long as you're not continually doing it. If you take 2 seconds to do it and you release it, then that's fine. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, or you're getting something out of it so far, hit that like button and we'll move on to number three. And number three is better football IQ and awareness. And I really want to focus on awareness, but having a better football IQ will help you as well, which will come from practice, studying the game, studying your mistakes, looking at what you can improve. But ultimately, awareness and lack of awareness is what causes, in my eyes, it's one of the biggest things that, in my eyes, causes players to panic in games. Because if you don't know what's around you and you turn and suddenly an opponent is there, you're more likely to panic than if you know that opponent is there, you turn, you're already aware that's going to happen. Now you need to be able to, again, be calm in situations where something spontaneous happens. That's going to happen in football, absolutely. But the more aware of what's around you you are, where your teammates are, where your opponents are, where the space is, and also kind of having that football IQ to be able to intuitively know how things are going to move if X, Y, and Z happens. You're not really thinking about this, it's more instinct. But when you have that awareness, you'll stop panicking. Again, if you know what's out there, when you're shining a light more on what's going to happen, then you will stop being so nervous because you'll know exactly what to do. You've trained to respond to certain situations. You're like, I know the guy's on my back, so I need to take a touch away in this direction, that direction. I need to shield the ball. I know my teammate is making that run as soon as it comes to me. I don't even need to look again. I know he's making that run. I can play it first time over the top or around the corner. That awareness allows you to not only panic, but confidently do things that are going to help your team out. Play those tricky through balls, make that really intelligent play that a lot of players won't even try because they are nervous or they are panicking. Now I want to give you a little bit of a bonus that's not necessarily only football related, but you can do other practices like meditation, mindfulness, breath work, for example. These are some of my favorite practices that are just going to help you stop panicking in general and keep a level of calm and, in a sense, stillness. Now, sometimes this will spill over into your game if you become more of a person like this. I didn't use it as like a main one in here because it's not necessary, so to speak, but it is something I always recommend and will have implications in other areas of your life too if you take upon some of these practices. Because a lot of times you might just have a lot of chaos going on within you and you need to kind of calm those waters a little bit or else you will be taking that into your matches and most things that you do. So I would also look into creating a meditation practice. Breath work is something I really love as well. That can help you out a lot. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Now, if you want to learn about what the main mental blocks players have and how to get over them and become a much more confident player, I have another free video for you right up here that you can watch. It's going to be perfect to watch after this one. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this one. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you in the next one.